Ladies and gentlemen, after a long hiatus, we are back with the hot tag, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back today?
I think it's today.
I thought we were snowed in.
No, that was a couple days ago.
Oh, I thought nothing happened this week because of the snow.
A lot happened, though, if you've been watching your television.
No.
Have you been on the internet? I heard the internet was broken.
No, I've been Snapchatting this whole time.
I'm too old, I don't know what that is.
Me too, but no one else knows that. So stuff happened. What do you want to talk about? All right, cool.
I might as well get right into it. But ladies and gentlemen, AJ Pan here, along with Brandon Lewis, the authentic one. Back in effect here on the hot tag.
There you go. That's how you started out.
That's it. Happy New Year. We haven't seen you guys in a while, so a lot of things going on this weekend. First of all, I guess we got to talk about the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, the Royal Rumble. Very crazy. Very crazy.
Incredibly crazy. Where should we begin? Should we begin... You know, to show I'm not a negative person, I'm going to start off with the positive. Because I know you were waiting for me to start complaining about the WWE.
No, I was just willing to go wherever you want to go. So if you want to start positive, let's start positive.
I'm going to start positive. The triple threat match, the World Heavyweight Championship on the line.
Amazing.
It was a great match. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Seth Rollins. I'm not usually a fan of triple threat matches. They pulled out a hell of a performance. Kudos to all three men in that match.
I mean, you got three guys who are all veterans in the ring. They know what they're doing, and they were given the appropriate amount of time where they can just show off and do what they do best. So we got to see some really rough takedowns from Brock Lesnar, and we got to see some really cool stuff from Seth Rollins, things that he hasn't done on WWE television before. And Cena, who, honestly, if he had won and became 16-time champion, I would have been okay with it because he killed it in that match. People talk about he only has 5 moves. He doubled that count. There was at least 10, possibly 15 Cena moves in that match. And, he showed that when it's highlight time, during the big show, he can put it on if anyone had any doubts.
I think it was very good, too. It was kind of a coming out for Seth Rollins, where people didn't think he could hang with Brock Lesnar. He held his own in there. He put out a performance. So along the lines where people think, oh, Brock Lesnar's just a monster. He's going to kill everybody, which he is. Yeah. By the way, he picked up Big Show on Raw and just sprinted back in with, whether it's, exaggerated or not, the broken rib. Mm-hmm. He sprinted right back in to get the finish on Cena and Rollins. But Rollins, yeah, he showed his stuff, and the small men can hang with guys like Lesnar and Cena, so...
There has to be an area of disbelief that you have to keep in this because you have to. It's always been there. People like to say that Daniel Bryan, for example, is one of those people who can't hang with... It wouldn't be believable if he hung with, Brock Lesnar. Well, CM Punk did it not that long ago, and Bryan is a lot more solid, in my impression, than CM Punk is. Also, if we want to talk about what would actually happen in a real fight, Big Show would not be losing as often as he has over his career, putting over the young stars, like he's done for so long in his career. Real fight, Big Show wins almost all the time. Same thing with Mark Henry. He's a main eventer in real life.
Yes, 100% correct. But yeah, that was a great match. I guess now we'll go to the elephant in the room, the Royal Rumble match itself. Roman Reigns coming out on top. Now, what are your thoughts on the whole, not even just the win, but the whole Philadelphia crowd turning on him, using The Rock to get, or WWE using The Rock to try to get him over when maybe they foreshadowed, they knew this might happen?
I think WWE, people in the office, the Pattersons, Triple H, Steph, everyone involved, agents, they've heard some of the boos they had in the back. I don't think they expected the backlash, and neither did I. I thought that we might get some boos. I didn't think we'd get everyone just turning on Roman. That was unexpected for me because I didn't see him as someone people put in the same light as a Batista. I don't think that people were booing just because Daniel Bryan didn't win. I didn't think anyone this year lit up the WWE audience where this person had to win. I thought Ziggler could have taken it. I thought Dean Ambrose could have taken it. I thought Bray Wyatt could have taken it. Anyone could have had it. But I didn't realize that the one thing that everyone was unified around was they didn't want Roman to win.
It was an interesting scenario right after Daniel Bryan got tossed out. Really, nobody else got a cheers, except for, as you mentioned, Ziggler, Ambrose, and even Damian Mizdow.
Yeah.
I think they even would have accepted him at that point, and he got tossed out immediately. So even that little bit of, hope that people had got crushed.
Even though he was never in my initial Final Four, when I heard the reaction of Sandow, or Mizdow, I should say, I was kind of hoping that he would make it to the Final Four just to see the reaction. It almost reminded me of when Santino and Daniel Bryan were the last two into the Elimination Chamber, and Santino almost won the World Championship. That was a big deal. And if Santino had won, I'd have been okay with it, because he earned his spot there. Yeah. He didn't need to have it for a lengthy run or anything, but I think he earned his spot, and judging by the reaction, it would have been cool TV. That said, I think the other thing is people have already accepted that Roman Reigns can be world champion, will be world champion, and possibly deserves to be world champion. But the way that we put the WrestleMania on a pedestal, that's where the stories end, the conclusions, the big rivalries and moments are made, and this is, the Valhalla moment. It's no one wanted to see Roman Reigns in that role. I think they'd be okay if he won it later on, SummerSlam,
yes.
TLC, Night of Champions, but not WrestleMania. No. They didn't want him to have that moment.
Yeah, that's kind of like putting, the Seahawks in the Super Bowl this weekend.
Yeah.
Does not work.
No, that was unexpected.
I mean, even when The Rock, he got maybe 2 seconds of applause. And
well, if I can, I feel like, people, or maybe The Office, overestimates how the fans feel about The Rock. He is the most electrifying personality in entertainment. I get it. And he can change the feeling of a show. Raw did a show in Brooklyn not too long ago, and it was a horrible, horrible show. And fans were not with it. They weren't even jeering. They were just like silent almost the whole time. Although there was some, Randy Savage chants. But then The Rock shows up, confronts Rusev and Lana, and, energy change. Just like, people forget how bad that show was just because The Rock was there. Yeah. That said, I also remember another time in the Garden where it was, I believe, Survivor Series, and Zack Ryder was just starting to have his come up, and here comes, The Rock main eventing along, with Cena against the Awesome Truth, and no one cared about The Rock at that moment. We want Ryder, that drowned out Madison Square Garden. Yeah. So yes, we love The Rock, but he can't save everything.
No.
The people want what the people want, and the people's champ can't even change that.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting WrestleMania season now with all this going on. And now we're heading into WWE Fastlane, which was Raw got snowed in. We were talking about that earlier. Raw was canceled, I believe, the first time in besides when Benoit passed away. The first time it's been canceled. They had a studio show right in the WWE headquarters in Connecticut.
Right.
So they announced John Cena versus Rusev, which I'm surprised they're pulling the trigger on kind of early.
I think they just needed a nice, rivalry to get between, now and WrestleMania. Just something to, what do we do with Cena? I mean, that's the bad thing about Cena being, nothing against Cena, but being around so long and being a face for so much of it, there's really not that much room for, all right, who do we give him? Who's new? What's interesting? Right now, I guess it's Rusev. And I think you're right. It might be a little too early, but it's here.
Now, where do you see? I mean, I thought they were actually going to try to save that for Mania. Now, do they extend this feud? Does Cena face Rusev again at Mania? Who does Cena fight now at Mania? A lot of the dance cards are taken for Mania. It's going to be interesting to see where they go now.
I think the really cool thing to go, now that it's happening, I'd like to see Rusev get the win. I don't see him getting the win at Mania. I'd like that too. You want to talk about shock and awe, that would shock people. That would surprise people. I think even if the rest of WrestleMania didn't go the way the fans wanted or expected, or If Rusev pulled the win on Cena, that's one talking point. If it had it at Mania, even bigger talking point.
And then we're going to have finally the Triple H challenge Sting to a face-to-face confrontation. Not a match, but a confrontation at Fastlane.
I think it's cool. It's one of those fantasy matches that probably should have happened 10 years ago during the Invasion. I'm under the impression that, Sting knew this was going to happen the moment he got signed. And I've seen him wrestling in TNA. I've watched him over some years, and he can still go, but I think he can use this time in between now and Mania to get into better shape, because I did not like the way he looked towards his later years in TNA. And hopefully he can trim down, maybe let some of that hair grow out a little more, rekindle those feelings of, when he first showed up like the Crow. Because it's working. The marketing is working. And Triple H is still in wonderful shape and can carry Sting through a match if necessary. But I don't think Sting, if he's in shape, needs to be carried. I think the both of them can, function very well together.
Sting has gotten great reactions every time, the 2 times he's come out at Survivor Series and on the past Raw about 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Everybody's been dying to see Sting wrestle at least once in the WWE, so this is going to be a dream come true for a lot of people. Like, he could be in there with anybody, but him against Triple H, I know people wanted to see him and Taker. Not going to happen with Taker's, just what happened last year on his advanced age and stuff he's done in the ring, just battered his body. Right. But Triple H is a great
sub.
Yeah,
Everyone wanted Undertaker.
Antagonist. It was a great for Sting. Yeah, but it's gonna be great to see.
I would go if I was booking it. If you've watched any of Triple H's last matches, the only normal one-on-one match he's had over the last couple years has been against Daniel Bryan. Everything else has been a gimmick match, street fight, Hell in a Cell, something like that. No holds barred, or even handicap. But it's very rare that you see Triple H doing a regular one-on-one match, and I wouldn't recommend that against Sting either. I think having a little bit of, maybe a little sledgehammer versus baseball bat wouldn't be so bad right now. And having no rules to help make those weapons possible can help create dramatic moments if you can't expect just a basic one-on-one match to carry the emotion, maybe a little, hardcore stuff thrown in would help.
I'm looking forward to this. This is the first time I'm looking forward to a Triple H match and feud in a long time, but it's gonna be good to see. Besides, you go from Reigns and Lesnar, which nobody's looking forward to in Mania, to now Sting and Triple H.
Right.
It's a huge. So they could go in the right direction for Mania. It's still a lot of time to build.
And they're marketing him well. He's the vigilante. Yeah. He's got, he's not saying anything so far. I'm still waiting for him to just point the bat. We haven't even seen the bat yet. No. I'm excited for the bat. And but they're using him well. They know what his strengths and weaknesses are, and they have a lot invested in him. And they're not WWE isn't going to let this fail.
No, not at all. So since you mentioned Sting with TNA, you might as well jump to TNA now. They're brand new now on the Destination America. They ended their Spike TV run and their relationship. They started airing now on Friday nights on that channel. The programming has felt fresh. They've redone the logo, kind of like all this the way they tape. Removed Mike Tenay from the play-by-play position and gave it to Josh Matthews.
Good job.
I'm a Tenay fan, but it does feel a lot younger and fresher with Matthews and Taz. A lot of there have been some returns. The former Karma, now Awesome Kong, once again came back to feud with Havoc. It's been a lot of interesting stuff.
I'm very happy to see Karma back. I'm very happy to see Josh Matthews back. I remember, I don't know if it was Velocity but I know I've heard Taz and Josh Matthews do commentary at one point before, and I know that they have good chemistry together. I feel that Taz needs someone to really connect with, and Tenay is one of the most knowledgeable people to, call a match. but I never felt like he blended with Taz very well. And I think Josh Matthews can be the face of TNA, if you will. If Michael Cole is the voice of Raw, then I see Josh Matthews can very much be the voice of the new rebranded TNA. And it's a rebranding, like you said, new logo, new channel, new voice is part of that.
Yeah, they brought back their Feast of Fire match this past week. I've always dug that It's a kind of a Money in the Bank spinoff. Now they had let's see, the World Championship shot was being given to Austin Aries. He won that. Rockstar Spud, the X Division Championship shot. Magnus Tag Team Championship, and in an odd twist, Velvet Sky was fired when she grabbed the briefcase for Robbie E.
Right.
So now, what do you see the directions with some of these guys? I mean, Magnus and Bram. I guess that's their Brangelina name. We could
I mean, I really don't know, because there's so many different directions this can go in, and as we just said, this is a rebranding. So any of these contenders can be a potential champion, and I'm not saying all of them will win, but this is a good opportunity to, I guess, crown to say, okay, this person is, these are the people that we can count on to be the stars of the next generation, or the next generation of TNA. So it's very interesting. I don't know where it's gonna go. I can't anticipate it, because they can go in so many directions right now.
It's good to see that they're trying to give Austin Aries the ball again. Now with a new direction, hopefully they keep him in the main event level mix. You have Bobby Lashley, who is still the World Heavyweight Champion, yes. And he's facing, I got to say, I hate the name of their crew. MVP's crew is now the BDC, the Beatdown crew. Kind of being like, and their logo's like kind of like a Wu-Tang. It's a little ridiculous.
I like the Beatdown crew.
You do like the Beatdown crew.
I'm a fan of everyone involved in it. And I've always liked MVP. I like the whole team, and it's nice that each of them are getting a chance to shine. Some of them have been out of the TNA limelight for a bit, so having all of them together is a nice way to put some shine on everybody. As you mentioned, Austin Aries being able to go against Bobby Lashley, it's or whoever's the champion at the time when he decides to cash it in. It's real cool, because I've always liked Austin Aries as well, and sometimes when there's like a regime change, it feels like everything's changed. We've seen things change in TNA quite often, and people who were superstars and, no pun intended, MVPs of TNA sometimes get faded away. And I'm glad that's not the case with Austin Aries, and I hope to see the belt around him soon.
I hope so. Yeah, it's getting interesting now with TNA. I look forward to watching it every week now. You have them, you have the Revolution, the whole James Storm contingent. Kurt Angle's back to wrestling. He's no longer the director of wrestling operations. It's a good time for TNA.
Kurt Angle's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Possibly in my top 5 if I had to.
I think he's one of mine as well.
Yeah, if I had to, really narrow it down. But I'm happy to see that he's still with TNA, because I know that there was rumors of him jumping to WWE and contracts and whatever that is. But a lot of times, a lot of my favorite people, when they show up back in WWE, they don't get utilized in the way that I'd like them to. So if Angle is happy with TNA, as he has been, I mean, he's had a longer stay with TNA than he has with WWE.
Yeah.
And every time, you ask on the radio, he seems happy about it. So I'm happy he gets to be where he's happy and used in a way where he is at his most lethal. Not as opposed to having goofy Kurt Angle back. Right. I like him too, though. Yeah. No taking anything away from goofy Angle.
Let's see. NXT. They have their next live special coming up on February 11th.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I look forward to. I'd say, out of all the 3, I look forward to NXT the most each week.
I agree. We can do a hot tag just on NXT, and You know,
We could, and that one I think it'd be all tags across. It'd be like the Young Bucks super kicks like all over the place. It'd be hot tags all over the place.
definitely.
Yeah, we got the main event now. Just announced last night. Sami Zayn will be defending the NXT Championship against the former Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens.
You have to know that not only was Triple H aware of their feud beforehand, but he's had to have seen the matches as opposed to just hearing about it. I'm sure the moment Kevin Steen, now Owens, got signed to a developmental contract, is like, you know what we got to do with him. Like, immediately just went, who does that? Immediately just gets the title shot, you know. Not since the Giant in WCW does anyone just go and get, you know, the title shot right off the bat. So I'm happy to see them going with this. I think anyone who is not familiar with the history of the two are in for a big surprise because it's going to be exciting.
Well, that's the great thing about NXT too. Like even if I didn't watch it religiously for a while, and just with the live specials, they build up like the matches so well. They do great recap packages to get you even invested if it's your first time. You're like, after again, you're like, totally, I want to watch this match now. This is great. Like even the women's matches, they treat like a major event, not like a throwaway Total Divas bikini, you know, go to the bathroom kind of match. It's actually the women are actually competitors.
The women's matches in NXT are matches that I look forward to seeing on a weekly basis, and I put that against any organization on or off television. I'm a big fan of Charlotte. I'm a big fan of you know, Sasha Banks. I'm a big fan of Bayley.
My girl Becky Lynch.
Yeah, Becky. Oh Jesus, like Alexa Bliss, all of them, you know. Bluey, Bluey.
Blue Pants.
Blue Pants is great, you know. It's just I didn't have this feeling with WWE's main roster. You know, there's people who, you know, I said old Bluey, Blue Pants joking around, but that's how well NXT develops their talent, where even if you don't have an official name yet, we're cheering for you and looking forward to you, you know? So I'm very excited for TakeOver. I'm excited for the women's Fatal 4-Way match, and I'm excited for the tournament.
Yeah, now, speaking now, next week on NXT, match I think everybody's going to look forward to, Finn Balor versus Hideo Itami.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a good chance for Tommy to shine. I see Balor getting the win, but
what have you thought of them two so far? I've been a little.
I didn't like it.
I don't think Hideo's been showing what he can actually do. Finn has been phenomenal. I see him as the next breakout star for the E.
I agree. I'm not sure if starting him Tommy off against the Ascension was the smartest thing to do. I felt like if you want to display your you know, they gave him a very big introduction. Hulk Hogan going to Japan to announce his signing. So the best way to display his talent was not putting him against the Ascension. And then having him in this tag team, while I'm happy he was in the tag team because it gave both him and Balor something to do, I feel like his lack of in-ring time has also really kept us from seeing what he can do. And I know what he can do, and you know what he can do, but on NXT we haven't seen it. You know, even I can say that I don't see it. And I feel being in the ring one-on-one against someone who knows him, you know, and I'm sure will be given a considerable amount of time, I think it's going to be a great match.
I find it funny about NXT where you would think maybe certain guys going back there is a demotion, but it's not. Like, I think it's a great career move. Like Curtis Axel's headed, he's been back in NXT. The Tyson Kidd had his career kind of got a resurgence from there. Even when he's on Raw, he's not doing well. Well, now he's finally starting to do something on Raw again. With him and Cesaro's a great team. But I was picked out of nowhere. But I think that's because they let him develop himself on NXT. Emma's coming back. She made her reappearance last night, saying she's back in NXT. It's a good time. It's NXT, I think, is kind of going to become like the ECW now of this generation.
It's possible. My only issue with that is that now there's so much talent. I know that soon we'll be seeing Solomon Crow. If you didn't catch it, there was like a little what seemed to be a mix-up on the broadcasting, but if you're paying attention, there's little hints that Solomon Crow is coming, and I'm sorry if I ruined that for you, but, open your eyes and watch. But Solomon Crow is coming, and I'm excited, and then you've got, just, there's still signees in the back, like people who, the people on television are not the only ones in the developmental system. There's plenty of people in the back waiting. And then you have stars from WWE who maybe didn't do so well, or they didn't have the idea that they wanted just yet. And what bothers me is I don't see that there's room for everybody. And take, for example, so I'm not just talking, where my feelings come from is Titus O'Neil was recently on NXT, and I liked what they were doing with him, and I feel like he's been missing now. And granted, not everybody shows up every week. It's 1 hour of television every week, and a lot of people, you got to make sure that everybody's getting their shine. But when you got Titus showing up, Emma showing up, Curtis Axel showing up, all these people showing up, I'm afraid that Titus O'Neil can end up like a Justin Gabriel or I already forgot this guy's name. The
Heath Slater?
No, like his tag team partner, Heath Slater. No, I was gonna say, what's his name? Mason, the Wales Colossus. Mason Ryan. There we go. See, I forgot his name. That's how long he's been off of television. And I would hate to see that happen to Tyson because he is so good.
Yeah.
So strong, so much charisma. The fact that the main roster has nothing for him is ludicrous, and it angers me.
Well, that goes back to the whole Rumbles, but that's we could go back, and we're not going to go back into that. But speaking, they have, and they know what they maximize their time too. Like even new tag team champions last night, Buddy Murphy and Wesley Blake. Wasn't
I'm not so.
You know what though? I love the Full Sail University crowd. They went crazy for it. Like you thought who it was. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen the guy 2-3 weeks on television, and I guess the idea of it's something just like a title change that you would have never expected. You thought, okay, Lucha Dragons are gonna.
I mean, it's exciting that belts can change just like that. It's not something you can't really expect it on Raw too much. You can't really you damn sure can't expect it on SmackDown too much. These are title changes are reasons to buy the network. So it's not something that's just going to be given away for free. At least not anymore. Occasionally, maybe a little surprise here or there, but for the most part, it doesn't really happen on free television. That being said, I think also I wasn't sold on the Lucha Dragons as a team. I like... I do like them, but I don't feel like Sin Cara and Kalisto work as a team. I think that Kalisto... He just shows so much energy. And then Sin Cara, I feel, is in the corner like, yeah, Lucha. Lucha. And they didn't really seem to, like, connect in my mind. At least the package just didn't work to me. And I would like to see them maybe separate. I wouldn't mind seeing a heel luchador every once in a while either. I mean, we haven't seen one since Chavo, unless you count, Dark Sin Cara, but I don't even want to go there. But, there are Rudos in Lucha Libre also. It's not
the Mexicools were heels, weren't they?
Yes, but look how long ago that was. Jeebus.
I actually like the Vaudevillains. I think they're a great tag.
I think they're a great tag team too.
I would, yeah. I think Kalisto has the potential to be kind of the next guy the WWE's were looking at in that kind of sense, like a Rey Mysterio, what Sin Cara was supposed to end up being for them.
Right.
I think with time, Kalisto could be that guy because he has, like you said, a lot of energy. He's a phenomenal talent.
I agree. I think he could be a top talent, regardless of his size. He can be like Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio is a former world champion. and people, I know people like to say, well, oh, he was only given that belt, it's supposed to go to Eddie, he was only given because of Eddie. Whether that's accurate or not, here's something that I can say is a 100% fact. If he did not deserve to be champion, Vince would not have put the belt on him.
Yes.
Not just because he's Eddie's friend, he could have did that to Chavo.
Yeah.
He could have put the belt on Chavo. He didn't put it on Ray. He put it on Ray for a reason, because he's awesome.
Yeah, the best Chavo got was he got out of the Curran White gimmick.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite Chavo right now is... I feel it's not on the board, but I want to talk about it. The
Lucha Underground?
Yeah, Lucha Underground. I can't even get the words out. Chavo does great there. I love the show. I don't even have the Ray network, the El Rey network that it's on. The network I have it on, I don't even know the name of it, but it's like a knockoff Telemundo. So I get the Spanish commentary only. Okay. And in case you didn't know, I don't speak Spanish. I don't care. I'm watching the show and I'm loving it. It is presenting something different in the way that I've never seen it done before. It's the closest thing in my mind to ECW that I've seen since, I know you kind of gave that to NXT as far as being like a third brand maybe. I see this as an ECW because it's a completely different take. It does not, it's sports entertainment, if you will, but it's a network drama. It's not just wrestling. There's the first things they show you are their producers. It's inside of a temple. That looks like a barrio, street corner, and it makes no bones about trying to not be. It's not WWE. It's not TNA. It's not wrestling that you have seen before in America. It's a whole new take on it. It's fresh, and I dig it. And kudos to Chavo. And El Patron Del Rio will be seeing whatever Alberto El Patron. I don't know the order of his name, but I know he's the Patron, damn it. And I'm excited. I'm excited for everything.
Well, you gave me a good segue because he is going to He's also going to Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Their next pay-per-view, which will be on March 1st. He will be Jay Lethal will be defending the Ring of Honor television title against Alberto El Patron.
Alberto El Patron. I'm excited to see. First of all, I'm excited for both Alberto Del Rio and CM Punk just being able to not only just find work, but just be so successful at having life outside of WWE right off the bat. Yes. People, think, oh, what were they gonna do? You got you got Punk in UFC. I don't think enough recognition goes to Alberto Del Rio, who's doing AAA. AAA is associated with Lucha Underground. He's going there. ROH, he has the potential to be the biggest thing ever happen to ROH, because one thing ROH has never had. Yeah, they've had. Actually, I need to paraphrase that, but they've never had a former world, WWE world champion. They've had Eddie Guerrero, but they've had Eddie Guerrero before he was world champion.
Yes.
They had CM Punk before he was world champion. They have Matt Hardy, who's one of the biggest stars ever in wrestling. But the one credential that he didn't have is world championship. Not even in TNA. So now you've got ROH with someone who you can say with that NWA lineage of saying world champion. That's a big deal, real big deal, and I'm excited.
It is. There's a ton of guys for him to face there. Like with Michael Elgins, Mike Bennett. There's a whole. Yeah, there's a whole roster there, which is going to phenomenal matches. That signing alone could bring Ring of Honor to the next level.
I agree. I mean, I don't like making predictions as far as who or what's going to be next level, because you never really know. You don't really know. I don't just like I don't have El Rey, and I'm not sure if I have Destination America. I don't have the the Sinclair channel that ROH is on. So it's hard to say what is next level. That being said, pay-per-view business is, increasingly doing better. We see that with ROH. We see that with a number of independents, and American audiences have seen that with a global one. And I'm really excited for where Alberto Del Rio can bring all of the organizations that he is bringing his talents to, because he's not being selfish. He's bringing it everywhere.
Yes.
He's bringing it to ROH. He's bringing it. This is multiple television outlets that his face will appear on. He might be, what WWE or not, might be the most televised wrestler in America right now. And so I'm excited for what he can do for wrestling. And I don't know if anyone's ever, I can only imagine the conversations other people have had with him, but I don't know if he realizes how big his own movements are, because he was never the biggest star in WWE, but right now he's one of the biggest names that matter.
Yes. So before we head off too, I'd like to talk about making our return, FWE, pay-per-view, February the 7th, live at the World Resort Casino in Queens. Huge event. Hopefully you'll be there covering, and maybe you'll talk to me this time. You didn't cover my big signings last show. With Damian Darling, the Rockstar, Mr. Tibbs, Joey Ace, the Exer guys.
I spoke to the Exer guys and Joey Ace. Yes. However, if we're shooting right now, I did make an attempt to speak to both Rockstar and Damian Darling and Tibbs. However, not you, because I talk to you way more than I'd like to. And it bothers me whenever I'm near you. But also you have your announcing duties. You're the voice of FWE, so it's hard to get interview time with you. That being said, I did try to speak to them, but they seemed pretty upset that in FWE they weren't getting the attention that they deserve. All the attention is going to, I guess, former TNA and WWE talent and not their original talent. And I guess they put me along the same boat, because when I tried to speak with them, it's like, yeah, we'll talk to you later, and then later never came. So I don't know if I don't know if they put me in that category. I mean, hey, I'm just media, man. Don't get mad at me for whatever's going on behind the scenes in FWE. You can always talk to me. Microphone's here.
Well, they were on the losing end of their match. We had a surprise with Matt Taven, where he made a one-night return. Jorge Santi and FW executive Mike Law. We had a 6-man tag, but it's for the greater good. Yes, FW officials have been holding those guys back, and that was my purpose. I'm not. I hate the terms when people look at me like the bad guy, or I'm like a heel announcer.
I've never described you those things. I just don't like you.
You just don't like me. Fine. You just like me, I don't. But a lot of liberties, I think, have been taken with the FW originals. For all the Young Buck matches, guess what? Before then, it was Adrenaline Express versus the Funky Fresh Boys, who tore down the house. So now Mr. Tibbs, they had him working security. Kind of a low blow. So my goal is to get these guys back there while there's room for, and I have a lot of appreciation for the Matt Hardys, the Paul Londons, the Drew Galloways. Do not forget about Damian Darling, who was on on every single show FWE has had, and longest reigning Triborough champion. He's not on this card. What's up with that?
Well, once again, I don't work for FWE, but if we're talking business, if when you look at the one major player being WWE, and they started out as a regional territory, and FWE wants to make these steps too, because now it's no longer just Queens or Brooklyn. I know you have plans to go to Hollywood and other places as the year goes along. But when you look at WWE as a comparison, and how they got to the level they are, they got there by grabbing all the biggest stars from every territory. And so, that I like the Rockstar. Me and him are very close. I like Damian Darling. I've worked with him in different promotions. However, these guys are always going to be there, and so I'm looking forward to the. I'm not using Adrenaline to align Adrenaline Express with you because I know you don't manage the Adrenaline Express, but all the guys you mentioned, I imagine that they see these people coming into their locker room that they helped build, and I hope that they use this fuel to just kick butt and show that, hey, we're here and this is why we do it. I'm looking forward to the next show. I know Adrenaline Express is on that show, and I hope to see them there. And I hope to see Rockstar and Damian Darling and Tibbs, who I just met for the first time at your last show. So I'm looking forward to seeing all those guys maybe on the next card and make that statement, whether it be in Hollywood or Queens or Michigan or Orlando, wherever it's at. I want to see it because I'm a fan. I'm a long-time fan of FWE and everyone there who I've watched grow. You know, from Jorge Santi, who teamed with Matt Taven, who made his return. So, sorry if that was a sore spot.
It's all right, but yeah, I am happy for Adrenaline Express. They are facing The Addiction. Great tag team. They had phenomenal TLC match at the last FWE Refueled, where the Young Bucks are the World Tag Team Champions. They came out on top. We also have, I guess we can call it a TMZ match. Tommy Dreamer against Joey Ryan. FWE was on TMZ after that mixed tag team match. You can go, I'm not even going to discuss what happened. Please go to TMZ, type in TMZ Tommy Dreamer, Joey Ryan, and blow pop. And hopefully it won't direct you to the wrong website.
Honestly, if you look up Joey Ryan FWE or Tommy Dreamer FWE, even without blow pop, you're gonna find things that should have been on TMZ. Because, especially Joey Ryan FWE. There's a lot of inappropriate German suplexes, and Tommy Dreamer, the things that he uses as weapons and where he decides to use these weapons. It's a lot of TMZ moments that have not been there, but definitely type into blow pop once so you can see the one that made it on the air.
We also have the FWE Women's Championship defended as the new champion Candice LeRae faces Veda Scott, which should be a hell of a contest. I'm looking forward to that match. Matt Hardy returns. He faces Drew Galloway, who made a great impact and showed how WWE dropped the ball on a talent like him. 2 different matches he had, one against Carlito and one against Tommy Dreamer. It showed his range as a talent and showed what a phenomenal world-class competitor he is. In the main event, FWE Triborough champion Paul London returns. He defends his title against Matt Reborn Seidel.
I just want to talk about Drew for a little bit. Drew, I got the opportunity to interview him twice here for 1495 Sports. After both matches, both the one with Tommy Dreamer and Carlito, wonderful person to talk to. Very emotional weekend. And anything that he's doing with FWE, I want to be a part of. I want to see it. They are must-see moments. So I'm hyped. Women's match, my only heartbreak there is that I was very much a supporter of Maria Kanellis. She's not my biggest fan. She called me a creep last time because all I asked is if her wedding with Mike Bennett would be on pay-per-view. That's all I asked. And title of love. I wanted to see if are they gonna wear the title of love during a wedding? This is important stuff. This is a big deal.
Probably know you want to know about the honeymoon.
No, I did not ask that. I don't want to know about that. Stop.
Oh, my
Stop.
Maria.
Stop. but she's like a mentor to me as I do my broadcasting thing that I do for various companies and on the New York independent scene. she has that air of credibility having done the journalism in WWE. So I go to her for advice, and she's given me some great advice. And now that she doesn't have the belt, it hurts that she's not FWE Women's Champion. That said, the Women's Championship match in FWE will be exciting. I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm just going to watch and enjoy and be a fan.
Yeah, I can't root for any. I love Veda, but Candice LeRae after the last weekend, I mean, since she first debuted, I thought she is a phenomenal talent, and I want to say she was the MVP of that weekend. She was on fire and on all cylinders that weekend, from the mixed tag team match with Joey Ryan against Dreamer and Ivelisse, then inserting herself into the match with right after Ivelisse beat Maria for the championship. She inserted herself and gave herself a title match, basically.
Well, I think she's definitely, I'm not sure she, in my mind, MVP, but definitely the breakout star of the night, because people who watch PWG and other independent organizations may be familiar with her. But here's the thing that's hard for independent wrestling fans to hear. Not a lot of people watch these shows. More than they used to be. You know, independent is on fire right now. But compared to the overwhelming wrestling audience, it's a very small percentage. So FWE, I can guarantee you there's a good percentage of audience members that saw Candice for their first time. And they liked what they saw. Definitely breakout star for the weekend.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad FWE, even though I've talked about, you know, the guys who just, you know, getting their legs in the locals. I'm proud too of the guys who were released from the WWE, TNA, who didn't get to show their skills, are now getting the chance to, like the Paul Londons, Drew Galloways, Joey Ryan, who was in the gut check angle, and then they just dropped it. And he's a hell of a talent. He's very charismatic.
Yes.
He's a great worker. I'm a big fan of Joey Ryan.
Well, I know you are. You've been a fan of Joey Ryan. Anytime that we got to talk about TNA, even if he wasn't involved in a major angle, you were going to bring him up.
Yes.
And I think it's because you're both sleazy.
Well, that is.
And that's why I don't like you. You're very disgusting. You called me creepy. Maria, I don't know why she called me creepy. You are the creepiest man I've ever met. At least Joey Ryan has style when he does it.
Hey.
Yeah, he's got that stash. And
I got the Velvet Blazers, so
horrible.
Ladies loved him.
I bet they do. See all the pictures of your Hooters women.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's great being back here.
yeah.
The hot tag, we're back. We're in different locales. I like this new studio space.
I like the Cesaro logos around us.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Yes.
That is the Swiss flag cross or something.
I think so. I think that's a Cesaro
Yeah. I
Swing.
think that's what these are.
I don't know what they are. They're kind of cool,
Unless
though.
we're in the hospital.
No, not yet, anyway.
Okay. Is that a threat?
It might be, pal.
No.
Make sure, Damien Drawling's looking for you.
Save it for the next show. Save it for the next show.
Thank you, fans, for joining us. We'll hopefully be back with a lot of episodes and some special stuff this year. Anything you want to plug quick before we head off?
Like at 2KW on Twitter, like me at Mr. Brandon Lewis on Twitter, because I'm all over the Twitter. And House of Glory has a show in February as well. So, and that's the week after the FWE show. So it's a very, very big February. It's going to be an awesome February for wrestling if you're in the New York area. If you're not in the New York area, you should probably go to these websites. You know, check out FWE, check out House of Glory, check out 2KW, check out Fight the World Wrestling, check out wrestling, because it's happening in your area somewhere.
Wrestling is not dead. If you're not a fan of what the WWE is producing, check out and support independent wrestling. It's great times, more interactive. But just support the business if you're a fan. Don't just turn it off and say wrestling sucks, because it's not.
Why would you even watch us if you thought wrestling sucks? Right. Yeah, see, you're not telling your friends. You're watching us right now, keeping it to yourself. Embrace the wrestling. Let it soothe you.
So, for Brandon Lewis, I'm AJ Pan. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting us in 1495 Sports.
Frying pan.